Hello again, it's Julie from Spellbound, and this is the follow-on from the previous video where we made a couple of little beaded leaves using a very simple technique. The first one sat well on the end of a stem. The second one, similar technique, but as you can see it opens up a little bit to give us more of an ellipse shape. Now I'm going to show you how to mix and match these to join them onto a longer stem and perhaps to create a cluster effect as we have here. I've started to bead this bracelet just using the same two leaf techniques, and I've added in a couple of little clusters of berries, some little faceted beads, and I've made a large berry as well. So I'm going to show you how to start this. This is actually the end of a bracelet, and I'm going to show you how to add in all the different components. This is a really nice technique for you to do, to sort of design as you bead. So there's no set plan, you just add things as you think they would suit. I'm going to move that out of the way for the moment, and this one too, and show you the materials I've got. I've got 3 sizes of size 10 seed beads. They can be 10s or 11s. I've got a dark brown for my stem or branch, and I've got 2 sort of autumnal shades in the size 10 seed beads for the leaves. I've also got some size 8 seed beads in a red, and they will make very simple berries. And I've got 2 other types of seed beads for if you want to add bigger berries. Here we've got some size 6 seed beads and some size 10 seed beads to match these berry colours here. Now berries come in lots of colours, so you could have purple, you could have green, you could have yellow, but I wanted to match the two because I think as a palette that works well together. Now I've already made my basic bracelet. Now you can see it's just a long string of the brown beads, so it's going to act as a single branch. On one end I've put a bead loop, on the other end I've put a bead tag, so that will fit through that, and I've finished off the loose end that had the keeper bead on because it tends to get tangled. And what I'm left with is the rest of the beading thread attached to the bracelet. Now the beading thread I'm using is a Nymo D thread, and I've chosen the gold colour because it tones with my beads, but it obviously depends on your bead selection as to which colour works the best. As you can see on my original project, I've put the leaves and the berries on in little clusters because I like to see a little bit of stem in between, but for practical purposes of not getting too tangled while I'm demonstrating, I'm going to space the different elements quite far apart along my prepared bracelet. Now I've got the end of the thread here a short distance down from the loop, and I'm going to start with a simple leaf. I like this leaf to stick sideways or at right angles from the main stem, so I'm going to use the second technique from the previous video, and I'm going to make the elliptical shaped leaf that has an extra seed bead at the base in the stem colour to make it stable. So I'm going to start by putting on 1 stem bead. I now need the leaf beads, and I'm going to put on 8 of these. So there's the 8 leaf beads following 1 stem bead. Push them down to the main string, and I'm going to make the point of the leaf. To do that, I miss out the last bead I threaded on, and I pass back through the second to last, and I pass back towards the main stem. When I pull that up, you can see that that's made the tip of the leaf. I now need to calculate how many more beads I need to complete the leaf. Now I've got 2, 4, 6 beads left between the thread position and the start of the leaf. So my formula is however many beads I've got minus 1, so I'm going to need 5. So that's 5 new seed beads. Bring them down. Now this is the first bead of the leaf. I'm going to pass through that towards the tip. And as I pull through and tighten the thread, you'll see that the leaf opens out into an ellipse shape. I now need to join this thread back into the main stem, and to do that I'm going to add 1 extra stem bead. So there's my extra stem bead. I'm going to find the bead that I emerged from on the main stem, and that's that one there, and I'm going to pass through it in the same direction as I did before I started. So my thread is going to come out of that side of this bead to make the leaf, and it's going to go into the other side to complete it. And I pull through. You'll see I've now got my elliptical shape bead supported on 2 extra stem beads, and it sticks out at right angles to the main stem. Now I could just continue on doing lots of leaves to either side using the same technique, perhaps varying the colour of the seed beads, or perhaps doing different counts of beads. But I want to add some variety, and I want to show you some variety too. So I'm going to move on down through the stem to make some space. Now if you're doing it in clusters as on my original sample, you'll probably just move 1 bead further down. This will give us some elbow room so you can see what I'm doing. Now I think for this one what I'd quite like to do is a long stem and put a small leaf on the end. So we're going to call this a side shoot, and I'm going to put on a few beads to do my side shoot. I'm putting these on in the main string colour. And how many have I got there? I've got 8. I think that makes quite a nice side shoot. I'm going to put a simple leaf on the end. That's one of the first types of leaves that I made in the previous video, where we've got a narrower leaf, and it makes a nice neat junction with the main stem. So to make one of those I need 6 seed beads in my leaf colour. There's my 6. Down to the end of the stem. I do the same at the tip, so I don't go back through the first one. I get the second to last bead, and I'm pointing away from the last bead I threaded on towards the stem. So there's the tip of my leaf. I now need to do the calculation as to how many beads I need. I've got 4 beads remaining, so I need to do 4 minus 1, which is 3 new beads. Now this time I'm going to pass through the first bead of the leaf sequence towards the stem. Before I pointed that way, this time it's that way. So on the previous leaf it crossed over in this end bead, and this time the threads lie parallel in the end bead, and that gives us the more narrow shape and the thread pointing towards the stem. Right, let's go back down the stem bit. I think it'd be quite nice to have another side shoot attached to this side shoot, so we'll have a side shoot on a side shoot. I think one more bead would be good. Okay, let's make this side shoot just 2 beads long, and then we'll put a leaf on the end. So there's our 2 beads for the side shoot, and I'll need 6 leaf beads. There we go. 6 leaf beads. Leave out the last one, pass back through the last but one. Now we've got 4 beads left, so I need to put on 3 to complete the leaf. And now I've got 2 leaves, both on little side shoots. Now this side shoot needs to be reconnected to the first side shoot, so I'm going to go down those 2 extra side shoot beads that I added in the brown. That brings me up against the original side shoot. I now need to find the gap where the thread came out to make this extra side shoot. There's the gap, so I'm going to go down the last few beads towards the main stem. And when I pull that up, you can see there's my side shoot. Now I need to join the side shoot back properly to the main stem. There's the gap where we came out. I'm going to go into the gap and along a few more beads to give me some space to show you the next feature. So you can see now we have a little elliptical leaf, and we also have 2 leaves on a branched side shoot. Now if we're going to put on leaves, we need some extra little points of interest, and I'm now going to show you how to add some simple berries. Now to add the simple berries, I'm just going to use some size 8 seed beads. These are the frost red with the silver line, so I think they work really well against the autumn colours. Now berries work best if in singles or in groups of 3. So I'm going to do a group of 3 here, 3 beads on, and I'm going to pass through the same 3 beads again, so it's bead 1, 2, 3 in the same order again. Pull on the thread and adjust it so that my 3 beads come round into a little triangle. They'll do that naturally, you just need to pull the thread gently. So there's our 3 berry beads. Now then, that's the gap I came out of. I'm going to go to the previous gap and pass in through there and on down through the weave. So my 3 berry beads are going to straddle that bead on the main stem. Now that's caught up round a side branch. There we go, pulled through. And now you can see they sit proud on the main stem. Now I could have put them onto a little stalk as well, but I think they work quite well close to the main branch. Right, a little bit further on, and let's look back at the original. Here we go. Now you can see we've added some branches and some of the elliptical leaves, and we've added some little clusters of berries on our sample piece. There's 2 more things to show you how to add. I've got some extra feature beads here, and these are little crystals, and I think they break up the pattern rather nicely. And there's this larger, more complex berry. Let's move that out of the way. Now the little crystal beads, or you could use little fire polish beads, or you might actually have some beads that look like leaves or fruit. I think they work quite well. Just pop the bead on, pass through the same bead again on the main stem, so the new bead will straddle. That's the bead where the thread emerged from, and I'm going to go through the next one along as well. There we go. And these always work quite well in clusters, so I'm going to add one to the next one as well. So I came out of this side of the bead, I'm going into the other and on down the main stem. And there we go. So we've got two more features we could add to our design. Now the last one is going to be that complex berry. I'll make a bit more space. And let's do the berry on the end of a stem or a side shoot. So let's pop on a few seed beads. There we go, seed beads in the brown colour of the main stem. Now the complex berry is made with two different beads. We need a core bead, and in this case I'm going to use a size 6 seed bead. I'm using a black, but equally a green or a brown or a purple would work really well as we're making autumn berries. And you need some size 10 seed beads or size 11 in a nice berry colour. Now I'm matching the size 8 with the size 10, but you can do different colours. Berries come in all sorts of colours. Right, so I'm going to put the size 6 on first and push it right up to the end of those stem beads. And now I'm going to start covering it with the little beads. Now I do believe on things like raspberries these are called drupes, or the little knobbles. So I'm going to put on 4 seed beads and pass through the size 6 bead. So I make a little strap of 4 seed beads around the size 6. And I'm going to repeat. Oops. That's 4. I just hesitated there because my size 6 seed bead had moved away a little bit. Just need to make sure it's nice and tight against the end of the stem. That's 2 straps. As you can see, I've continued adding straps of 4 size 10 seed beads, and I've got 5 straps on now. I'm going to put on a 6th because I've still got a bit of the core bead showing. Now I need to be really careful when it gets quite full that I'm only passing through the core bead and I'm not catching the threads or the beads of any of the other straps. Right, so that's 4 beads on, and I think I need one more strap of 4 beads. I'm going to pass through the core bead again and we'll have a little look at that and see what it looks like. So I've got 2, 4, 6, 7 straps, and I actually think the core bead is quite well covered now. Now if you're using size 11 seed beads, you might find you need 5 per strap. If you're using a different size core bead, you might find you need different number of beads and a different number of straps. But that's covered that quite nicely. Now I've come to the end of my straps. I find I've got the thread on the wrong side of the berry, and the berry is still like a little football. It needs a bit of shape to it. So I'm going to put on 3 seed beads. That's 3 of the little red size 10. I'm going to push them right up to the hole in the seed bead, and I'm going to go the opposite way through the seed bead, the size 6 seed bead, and pull through to bring those 3 beads into a little point, and that will give me a point on the end of the berry. I then return up the stem beads. There we go. And now you can see we've got one of each type of leaf. We've got two different ways of making a berry, and we've got some extra little beads added on for more sparkle. And if we look back at my original, you'll see by mixing and matching these simple techniques, I'm starting to build up quite a wonderful autumnal design. I hope you'll give it a go. It's easy to do once you've got your materials together, and it's great fun. Thank you for watching.